Hello, my name is Keita Takayama. I'm academic staff in School of Education, University of New England, Australia. I have been asked by the editors of journal Discourse, Studies in the Culture, Politics of Education, to talk about the paper which is going to appear in the journal soon. So my paper is entitled Deploying the Post-Colonial Predicaments of Researching on/with Asia in Education, a standpoint from a rich periphery country. So basically in this article I try to answer or try to explore the fundamental question about researching Asia from Australia. That is, what does it actually mean to write about and research and to produce knowledge about Asia in the current infatuation of Asia in Australia, and what are the existing discursive contexts regulating the production of knowledge about Asia, and how we might be able to question it and to produce knowledge about Asia that travels the existing discursive formation, and what are the particular advantages and disadvantages and issues and tensions and contradictions associated with researching Asia in Australia, and how we might be able to mitigate against these issues and problems. So the purpose of the paper is really exploratory and trying to raise reflective questions as opposed to providing answers and concrete strategies. And I try to answer these set of questions by situating my discussion in the critical analysis of the four conditions of knowledge production that seems to set limits on how we produce knowledge and what kind of knowledge we produce about Asia and Asian education. And just to quickly, the first condition that I mentioned is the global political economy of academic knowledge production and global division of intellectual labor, which seems to determine who can produce universally applicable knowledge and who is supposed to produce data or local knowledge. And there is the almost unidirectional flow of intellectual influence from the West to the rest of the world. So what are the ways in which we can articulate researching on Asia in a manner that questions, that travels this global structure of academic knowledge production and division of labor? And the second condition I mentioned is the existence of colonial discourse of Asia and West, the sort of binary constitution of these entities that Edward Said talked about, that are supposedly mutually exclusive to each other. It's important to remind ourselves that the notion of Asia in and of itself is a relational construct that was born out of the Western colonial discourse. So what are the ways in which we can research and write about Asia and Asian education in a manner that actually disrupts this colonial binary constitution? And the third condition I mentioned is the power dynamics within Asia. While it's important to critique the Eurocentric production of knowledge, social science knowledge about Asia, but that's not enough. I think we need to pay attention to the way in which power dynamics within Asia, or we Asian countries, like nativism, nationalism, and regional dynamics, might condition the kind of knowledge that can be produced about Asia as well. And lastly, the fourth condition, I talk about epistemic standpoint of Australia. Australia is a rich periphery country in that it has historically been at the receiving end of the Northern theory, the kind of universal theory that has been produced in North America and part of Western Europe and so forth. But at the same time, Australia is also a part of the West, part of the English-using West, closely associated with academic discourse in the academic powerhouses of the Europe and North America. So it's the contradictory, ambivalent location of Australia vis-a-vis the global structure of academic knowledge production that needs to be highlighted, and the particular epistemic standpoint of the scholars based in Australia needs to be capitalized upon. So these are the four conditions I discuss in this paper. And in a nutshell, I try to complicate knowledge production about Asia from the particular location of Australia, and to highlight its essentially political nature. And I finished this article with the following question for us to think about. That is, what kind of knowledge, what kind of politics of knowledge we inevitably participate. Here I'm assuming that it's impossible not to participate in politics of some sort. And as a result, what knowing of Asia is made possible and made impossible. And being able to raise these critical reflective questions, to me lies at the heart of what it means to be Asia literate for Australian education scholarship. Alright, that's the sort of gist of my argument, and I hope you have a chance to read my paper, and I will welcome any feedback you might want to give to me. I hope that will be most appreciated. Thank you very much.